Welcome back to Before the Millions. I can't lie to y'all, man. I got a special person with me today. This is somebody that I actually recently met. Would have been like maybe 6 months or so.
Yeah, 6-7 months ago now.
Somebody that I've been hearing a lot about, since I got to Cali. And this guy's I call him the African 50 Cent. You know what I mean? He's tapped into so many industries, so many different businesses, so many different ventures, and I know for sure that you guys are gonna learn a lot from his story, from his losses, his lessons, his wins, and just to see what our next 50 Cent has to offer. You know what I mean? So I definitely appreciate
that. Appreciate
sure.
you, man.
Appreciate you for popping out, bro. Go ahead and break down to people what's your name, man. What do you do? Let's get into this.
My name is Peter IWUH, CEO and founder, marketing guru, author, and whatever else fits the bill. Providing values from all angles.
For sure, and I love that. And like you said, this is really a man genuinely that really does provide value from all angles. And you can go ahead and we're gonna dive into all the different businesses and different ventures that you're in. But like I said, just brief introduction in terms of how I met you, how I heard about you. We both know Poe.
Yep.
And when I first got to Cali, he's the person that cuts my hair, and this is my boy. And a solid dude, bro, for sure. I got nothing but love for him. And he told me about you. He was like, "Yeah, bro, you gotta meet him. This dude named Peter, bro. He be hustling, bro. He got the same like business mind just like you. Like you guys will for sure click off like immediately." I'm just like, all right, cool. And it says a lot when your work precedes you. You know what I mean? When who you are, the type of person you are, precedes you. And regardless of who you are, you have to realize that's a fact. Your work and who you are will always speak volumes before people even meet you. So coming to meet him and learning more about the different things that you do and the different things that you're into. One thing that I definitely would say about you is you're definitely a genuine person, like somebody that has a big heart, that has big goals, big dreams, and is very strong and very convicted in terms of what you believe. And sometimes it's lovely to have those type of people around because you're able to have interesting conversations. You know what I'm saying? You're able to talk to people that do not agree with anything you have to say, and they wholeheartedly do not agree respectfully. So it's always great being able to talk to you. So let's go and get into it. What exactly do you do, man? Let's dive into the umbrella.
Yeah, man. First of all, I definitely appreciate those kind of words, man. Like I said, I definitely have utmost respect for you as well, man. So I definitely don't take those words lightly at all, man. But yeah, man. So I run Tycoon Enterprises, essentially a conglomerate company. So you can think about it as a parent company, the Walt Disney Company to the Disney World.
Right.
So ideally, that company comprises of a couple marketing primary companies. So we have Tycoon Agency, that is a traditional marketing agency where we service full service marketing services to nonprofits, creators, businesses who are looking for social media strategy, social media management, paid advertising, influencer marketing, press, you name it. I normally tell people whatever you can articulate, we can get done as it relates to marketing specifically. And then we also have Tycoon Sports, which is our newest venture, which is a NIL company. We actually started off as the first Black-owned name, image, and likeness marketing company where we work with collegiate student athletes and essentially help them monetize their name, image, and likeness, because dating back to the 1800s when college sports first came to the U.S., student athletes were just limited to scholarships, and that was just about it. No consideration of like how they're going to get paid to have sustainable living or any of that. So when NIL came in 2021, it was an amazing opportunity for college athletes and individuals like myself to really capitalize off of the name, image, and likeness era, and really just helping these student athletes navigate that space. And then we also have Tycoon Sound Records, which is kind of on the low, but we still active right now. We still get frequent deposits where we work with just a couple artists on like full service music management, distribution, and whatnot. So yeah, it's kind of a mix of various aspects of the entertainment industry, primarily with marketing services being offered.
For sure. And I love everything that you broke down. And when I just look at it, one thing that I'm seeing that's consistent in terms of, if you just, was to ask, what do I do in one sentence? You take people's greatness and you make it even greater. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Whether it comes to marketing somebody's business, whether it comes to somebody's sports career, showing them how to monetize their brand and who they are, whether it's a record label, whatever the case may be, there's somebody that you come to him with your idea, he's going to help you turn it into a beast. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that anyone and everyone, can take advantage of. And one thing I want to ask you is, what made you come up with that goal, because a lot of times most people in terms of their business or their ideas, they think of what they can bring, what value they can bring, what skill set they have in terms of like, I'm the rapper, I'm the singer, but you literally work, and it's beautiful. I love your blueprint because that's how I set myself, like that's my, I guess you would say, principle when it comes to finances. The more people I help make money, the more money I'll make. It's all aspects, it's just law of attraction, all aspects of life. The more people I help become happy, the happier I'll be, right? And looking at your model, that's literally what it is. The more people you help obtain success, the more successful you naturally will be.
Exactly.
So what I want to know is what made you run with that model rather than, just the typical, okay, I want to be, I have a business that I want to push, or I have a brand or a likeness that I want to push.
Yeah. I mean, I think, it's interesting for me how I got into it, because I think for me, I'm a type of guy, when a business model is able to work on me, it sparks my interest. Right. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, like, from a consumer perspective, like, I got into the entertainment industry as a very frequent club goer, you know what I'm saying? And I was always going to the club. I was always paying money to get that experience of being around celebrities. I fell for the marketing that was going on at the time, and I was a part of the conversion. I was turned into sales for the promoters, and that's essentially kind of what like inspires me, like things I'm around, things that like passionately involve me, whether I'm on the consumer side of it, because it's like, if you think about music, if you think about sports, these are all things that one daily consumes, you know what I mean? So I think that me just being inspired from like being around things and then just seeing areas of improvement, I think a lot of people, like when they see stuff working, they kind of think that it's all kind of said and done. Like if he's doing it, then nobody else could do it, you know what I'm saying? But I think that even though he's doing it, there might still be like one or two things that nobody is providing him as a service, or nobody is getting him to think about. And I think for me, I was blessed with a gift of like finding little gray crack areas and areas where a lot of people may not see them, you know what I mean? And I realized, like, when you go into situations like that, and again, always providing value from all angles, sometimes like the littlest things people appreciate, whether it's like coming up with a social strategy, or just be like, hey, like I saw your social media account as a Gen Zer, here are like 3 things I think you can do, you know what I mean? And it's like, for me, that's ABC, but for another person, that might be like 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? So I think, being able to like, do things that were like natural to me, and then, on the end side of it, people were like, oh, this is something that can be beneficial, and this is something that actually, could be a part of like my team if I'm looking to expand into my marketing team. And I think that like, naturally a lot of things kind of been, fitting itself into a place like that, if that makes sense.
That's lovely. That's lovely. You took advantage of your environment. You took advantage of the things that you already see you love.
Exactly.
And just applied, your creativity, your mix, and just look for ways where you, like you said, cracks and holes where you can provide value. Yep. And when it comes to money, I don't know if you ever, it's a book. I forgot the name of the book. It talks about just money, and how people obtain wealth. Yeah. And it's simply, money is a system based off of value. Yeah. The more value you can bring in, the harder it is to obtain that value, the naturally the more money you'll make. Yeah. So you look at somebody like LeBron. Why does LeBron make so much money? Because he provides so much value. He entertains so millions of lives on a daily basis, right? So, and is he replaceable? He's not replaceable. It's very hard to come by that type of ability to bring that much value to people. That's why he's paid that much. So when you look at somebody that, no offense to them, but works at McDonald's, you provide value because you make, you provide food for people, you make people food. But if you ask how easy it is to obtain that same value set, anybody can flip a burger.
Right.
So how could you expect to make any more money than what you're making right now?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what's key when people think about, I want to make more money. It's not so much spending more time. It's not so much I got to work harder, I got to work more hours. It's where can I go to provide more value, or what can I learn? What skill set can I learn that would allow me to provide value? And the thing is, like I said, it has to be something, especially if you want more money, it has to be something that most people cannot do. The rarer it is, naturally the more you'll be compensated. Yep. Right? Yep. So one thing I do want to ask you, as a marketing guru, as a marketing expert, somebody that, literally study, when it comes to academically, study the space, and also, did the tangible things, built your own businesses and help multiple hundreds and thousands of people build their own businesses. What would you say, and if you were just to give me 3 key things that can set people apart. You know what I mean? When it comes to their business, that can allow them to have that uniqueness. Because like I said, once you have that uniqueness, you naturally are more valuable.
Yeah. And I think that the uniqueness is the first thing. I mean, like, uniqueness in itself. And sometimes people really undervalue things that are really unique to the public eye. You know what I mean? Sometimes a lot of founders might have stories where they come from, like a specific background where people might not have anticipated just looking at them, that is like a unique factor that you can really run with. A lot of people might have skill sets that they've never shown the world, and again, nobody would have ever thought that you can do this, and that is your uniqueness. And you can take that and then utilize creative formats of content, which is the second thing, creativity, to really showcase what that unique is. And that's what social media is for. You have to remember, between TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all these platforms are averaging 1 billion monthly users. You know what I mean? Even if you have a 0.5% of these people engaging with your story, which you've been showcasing through creative content, that's really all you need. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you really need to take the time. And if you're a business owner, what I would recommend is take the time, take 1.5 billion, 0.5%. or 0.1%, and multiply that times whatever your product is, and see how much money you can make off of social media. Just if you had 0.10 or 0.01% of the active users on a social media platform, and really think about a strategy to consistently show up, and which is the last thing, like staying consistent. You know what I mean? People really think about followers and likes, and I always like to say, like, just keep on playing the game and don't look at the scoreboard. By the time you finish playing the game and you look back at the scoreboard, the points that you're really looking for might be somewhere else, or it might be on that scoreboard. But either way, like, you play the game, and the credibility that you would have built, the trust that you would have built just by staying on people's timeline, regardless of how many likes and comments that's coming up, is really what it comes down to. Because sometimes somebody might not like your post and just go straight to the checkout link. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing that's stopping it from happening is you not sharing that business service. And I think another key is just have a goal of one offer a day. Every day, try to use your stories, try to use text, try to use email, try to use a TikTok post, try to use an Instagram post. That's 5 different ways you can make an offer every day, selling something, making people aware of your post. Because sometimes somebody might see your post on Tuesday, they didn't have the bread. On Friday, payday. You just posted on Friday, and there's like, you know what? Let me make that investment in this thing that I've been seeing all this time. But if you don't show up, when are they ever going to make that decision, right? So I think that uniqueness, creativity, consistency, and then really just making that one offer a day would really be, like, you know, some advice to some businesses, you know?
That's a gem right there. That's absolutely huge. And I can just, you know, through my own experience, attest to what you're saying. I started a challenge where I was doing like a 100 to 1 million challenge, you know, with the trading. And I noticed by day 13, this is a fresh Instagram account, by day 13, I got like 500 followers. My views started getting like 10, 20, 30K views. This is by day 13. I'm like, wow, like, it just takes, like you said, that consistency, and that's what builds that credibility. And just to kind of put some perspective out for people, if you say, okay, you said that all these platforms, you said 1 billion users a month?
Average, yeah.
Average a month?
Yeah, average.
Okay, cool. So just to have a little perspective, right? 1% of 1 billion is 1 million. So half of that.
0.01 is 1%.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. So 0.5%, we're talking about 500,000, right? So if you're getting 500,000, and let me make sure I did this math right. Yep, 1% is 1 million. Yeah. Yes, so 500,000. If you have 500,000 people seeing your product a month, now we can even slice that in half. Even if you had 100,000 people.
Let's start with your 500. We can even do the math with the 500 followers.
Exactly.
Like with 500 followers, what's 20% of 500? 100. Yup. 100 people pay 100 is how much?
That's
if 100 people pay
a month.
All right. That one can make from a 500 follower account. Then you start scaling up from there. 1,000, same math. 3, 2. A lot of people, again, it's really just about those 3 things we just talked about. Uniqueness of how you're showcasing your service and the product, right? The consistency of it, and then really making sure that you're having that consistent offer a day. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's how one can really capitalize on it. Sometimes it doesn't even really take that much following to really convert.
For sure. Yeah. Now, one thing I would say that I know and I can understand people's perspective on would be, how do I know my product is ready? Okay. And I feel like I have the answer to that one. But I do want to know from your perspective, how do I know if my product is ready? Do I keep working on it to make it a better product before I release it? Do I release it now? Give me some perspective, because, and I really want you to dig deep into this one, because, and it may depend. Certain products are more expensive than others. Certain products are cheap. If you're dropping a course, it's a little cheaper than somebody that's dropping a clothing brand. So how do I know when to drop my product? How do I know if my product is ready? And how do I kind of just navigate through that beginning process of starting my business?
Yeah, that's a great question, because for one of my businesses in Tycoon Sports, we're kind of at that stage where we're looking to make a transition to business, and we're trying to justify our transition in the new product and software that we're looking to launch. So I'm gonna give a couple tips in no specific order, but the first thing you want to do, and this might make a little bit more sense for like product-based businesses, would be some sort of like pre-release or like tease of it, right? So you never know unless your audience tells you. So like, again, this is where social media comes back in, and I'll talk about another strategy that's a bit more offline, but you can start teasing products. I mean, I could use a clothing brand as a perfect example, because I have experience doing this. Before I drop a clothing line, if I have 5 designs, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my favorite 3, I'm going on TikTok and I'm teasing the designs. I'm showing the vision behind the designs, probably telling them where the design came from, doing quick little trends with the designs with all 3 ideas and seeing which one sticks. Out of the best 3, I'm looking for the best engagement on social, the ones that's like, I want this now, whatever. And then you have pre-orders. Again, this makes a little bit more application to a product-based business, right? But that way you can front a lot of money up front before actually having to make your major upfront expense, right? So that's kind of where your pre-release strategy is in. So I would take a couple months, 1 or 2, really just hint at what you're looking to tease, right? Whether you're giving like a sneak peek into it, or if you're building something and you have a prototype or something like that, showcasing that and kind of seeing what people's feedback are, and then again testing that between like 1, 2, 3 options and seeing which service or product are people really gravitated towards, I think is one strategy. The second strategy that I'm doing currently right now is customer discovery calls. And it's a bit old school, but it's really effective, especially when you're looking to sell something extremely high ticket, which is like expensive products for those who are not familiar. Like, we're doing calls where, and those are most of the calls that's taking up my calendar as of this moment, but I probably have 50 calls where I'm literally sitting with my ideal customer. In this case, they're student athletes or parents of student athletes or agents that work with student athletes, and we're building the app. So we have a prototype of the app where we can like show them what it's going to look like, and we're taking 30 minutes. Hey, I'm Peter from Tycoon Sports. We're working on this for $225. What do you think about it? Is this needed? Would you use it? Which feature would you use the most? Would you recommend somebody else to it? And we can talk about AI too, but we have our AI note taker taking notes of everything to the key takeaways of what they like, what they didn't like. We both get emails after the call, so now I know what to add, what to subtract. If this is even worth going for investment for, when we speak to investors, what are we telling them that the people are saying they want based off of one-on-one recorded Zoom calls that I can send you right now? You know what I mean? So that backs up justification, because where that helps is like when you're talking to investors and they want to know, how do you know that audience wants this? Well, I have some customer discovery calls where I can send you some audio or MP4 of them claiming that this would be a solution that will solve a problem. So I think, again, between like pre-releasing, kind of just creating hype and getting feedback, and then actually just getting in the weeds and having like one-on-one conversations with ideal customers is like what I would suggest. Depending on your business, you can pick, one or the both, if that makes sense.
You answer that question to perfection. You know what I mean? Honestly, because market feedback.
Yep.
Market feedback is the most important thing. I was watching an interview on the CEO of Netflix, and he said the exact same thing. He said, if you want to start a business, before you go spend a lot of money and do it, go get a little prototype as cheap, as fast as possible, and go ask somebody on the street. Stop them and say, hey, would you use this? Mm-hmm. Would you like this? Would you buy this? And you have to see if the market even values what you think is valuable. Exactly. Because you may think it's valuable, you may think it's cute, but I'm sorry, it may not. Exactly. And if you don't have a brand or a clout, or you don't have enough money to create demand, then you're out of luck. Right. And that's what a lot of people fall susceptible to, and they're so passionate about their brand or their business idea that they go broke because of it, and not in a good way. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I understand going broke for your brand. I understand, putting it all on the line for your brand. But you have to make sure it makes sense. Bet on yourself, but make sure that bet makes sense.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And I will say, to be transparent for those watching, like, I didn't just get into this business knowing I should do that.
Exactly.
It takes mentorship. It also takes having a team. Shout out to my product manager, Jaden, who was responsible to make sure that, like, before we even started building, in her eyes, I'm late. In her eyes, I should have been had those Zoom calls before we even paid for for certain stuff that we pay for at this time. But like, it takes having a team of people like yourself or individuals who's like, hold on, like before we actually invest into this, let's get some on Zoom calls. And like we did like Google Form service. She was like, no, Zoom calls, one-on-one, face-to-face, screen share, show them this joint. Not no Google Forms where they can't really see it and they're just, saying whatever they want to fill out to get a response from us, but like see the product and really justify it. So I think that having a good team and just mentorship or just people around you who can be like, yo, before you spend that money, do this, or before you do this, do that, I think is something that is really key. So I just wanted to like highlight that so people don't think that like we just woke up and knew to go interview people, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the point of this podcast, because certain people can't afford a team. Certain people don't have a team, and that's what we're grateful for this podcast for, just to get these insights. You learn from those losses, and like I said, like you said, you didn't wake up and know that you needed market feedback. You didn't wake up and know a lot of the lessons that you took. And it's crazy. I was making a video today about this exact topic. That's why I wanted to bring it up today, because it's kind of been heavy on my heart, especially lately. Just self-reflecting on myself. Like they always say, success loves speed, right? I believe that failure does too. It works the same. You can either spiral in a good way or spiral in a bad way. But at the end of the day, the compound effect is a thing. It works whichever way set of the spectrum you want to take it. So a lot of times, like, there's certain mistakes that we make, whether it's personal life, business-wise, that are just part of life, part of business. You're going to make certain mistakes, and it just is what it is. You have to learn. And there's certain mistakes we make that is avoidable, or we remake the same mistakes over and over and over again, certain things that we know we're not supposed to be doing.
Right.
And I kind of look at the analogy like, okay, success loves speed. Success needs you to move fast. If you keep shooting yourself in the foot, there's nowhere you can go. And a lot of times what's impeding our success when it comes to our business is really us. And that's why, when we were talking about that conversation earlier, I'm like, yeah, at the end of the day, our habits, whether you like it or not, is something that it may not be a bullet, but it may be like a little baby needle that is shooting yourself in the foot. You know what I'm saying? So success loves speed. At the end of the day, the faster you can get things done, the faster you can be productive, the better you're going to be overall compounding. You know what I mean? So that's just one thing. So I just want to kind of dive into it, because one thing that's relatable to everybody is losses, failures. Not everybody's a winner. Not everybody has won. Not everybody has seen $10,000 or seen any level of success, seen anything, been able to move out their parents' house. But everybody knows what it feels like to struggle for the most part. So what I want to know is, what are some of those mistakes that you saw yourself making, whether it was over and over, but just the easiest, dumbest mistakes that you kept making that were impeding your success, that you feel like, okay, if you were to take this out, you would naturally become better. You may not have, just to finish it off, you may not have the money or the resources to get a team, to get an assistant, get somebody to manage certain things. But if you stop doing these things, or if you started doing these things that are cost-free, your business and your life would automatically improve.
And if you don't mind, just to rewind, like, with the team thing, I think, at least for us, and to be transparent too, like, we don't have a payroll. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the people that work for us work pro bono, but it's a mutually beneficial situation. And I did want to kind of just, share that insight just a little bit for people trying to establish their team. I think there are two main ways in which, we try and find a team. And this will still kind of go back to that losses question too anyway. But in terms of the two ways that I would suggest to find a team, the first thing is interns. I mean, a lot of people really, really misunderstand. And if you went to college, you should understand how this works. I mean, at least for me, I only know this because I was a student, so I know how I got internships. The internships came through our teachers, right? So it's like, in my situation, if I have a sports marketing company, there's somebody in this world going to school for sports marketing. The way the school curriculum is set up, more than likely, you have to do at least one internship to graduate, right? This teacher doesn't care if it's paid or not. They just need you to do the internship and show proof that you did it, right? So there is a handful of people. I mean, if you have a clothing business, fashion majors. If you have an IT business, IT majors, right? So all you need to do, school teachers, the email is public. All you have to do is Morgan State University, strategic marketing department or sports management department, dean, teacher, everybody's email pull up. Then you go ChatGPT. Can you please write me an email to these teachers, let them know we're looking for interns?
That's a genius.
Like, can you please send me an email? Keep in mind, this is all free so far. So let me know when I start spending money. Because we're not spending a dime, right? You have a Google go online, and then you get the emails. You hit the dean, you hit the professors. There are at least 4 to 5 teachers teaching the subject matter in which your industry of business is in. So you go on ChatGPT, you get your email script, and you can either manually send these emails out, and then boom, use ChatGPT to come up with the job descriptions, make everything make sense based off what you need. And how I would identify the type of interns you need is just literally write down everything you do in your business. Reaching out to clients, creating content, managing a website, responding to emails. Write down every single thing you do in a long ass list, and then create intern 1. Fuck what they call it. Forget about what the name of the intern is. Just intern 1, move this task over here. Intern 2, moved. A lot of us get stuck in what is he going to be called? What is it like? What department? Just figure out what you need done. You feel what I'm saying? List it out and then just assign it. Intern 1, intern 2. And then do the whole Google search, AI, email, boom, free. And then you obviously make it clear in the description that this is unpaid. And then anybody who reaches out is already knowing that. And then when we interview them, we reiterate, just as you probably know, you saw it in the description, this job is, unpaid. Unfortunately, we're not at the stage to compensate just yet, but we are confident that the experience you get from this business will truly help you traject to wherever you're looking to go in your professional career. So now is a win-win. You help me for 3 months, work on my business. I help you make your resume look nice. If you get to another job, you have something in your company. Most students don't. So I have a free team now. The second way, if you have a little bit of cash, like I would say $500 max a month, you have the virtual assistant route. You know what I'm saying? You go on Upwork, and you make a job post. And again, ChatGPT, I'm looking for a virtual assistant. I need them to work on 9 to 5 PST, EST. I need them to know how to do X, Y, Z. Now, the secret to make sure you get a lot of applicants is on Upwork, you take that post and then duplicate it. You're going to duplicate the Upwork post and just change the title. So you might have social media VA, and then duplicate that, leave the description, and then just name the other one marketing VA. Duplicate it again, name the other one something else, just so you attract a few different applicants pool. Right. So instead of having 10 applicants, you have 30 or 40. Now you have a good mix of options. And then what I do, to save time in interviewing 30 people, I have all of them come on one Zoom call. So I set one day, I send it to all 30 people, hey, you've been selected to come on this interview. Boom, boom, bomb. Everybody confirms the interview, they get on. So now I have 30 people on the interview. The first thing I have them do, I give them a script. Everybody go one after the other. Read the script. And I just want to see if I can hear your articulation. You know what I'm saying? Because that's key for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to be able to understand you. You feel me? The next thing I do, I just give them a simple task. I want all y'all to create a Google sheet and then create the titles, name, occupation, company, yes and no. And all I want to see is who's doing it the fastest. Who's the quickest one out of y'all right now? You know what I'm saying? And I give them 2, 3 or more quick tasks. And keep in mind, you can get a VA anywhere between $2 to $3 an hour. Mine is $3 an hour, $3.85 to be exact. You feel what I'm saying? Because these are people in the Philippines. So this is, translated to something pretty, especially, I believe my VA, she's a stay-at-home wife. She's making a good amount of money just to be chilling at home. You know what I mean? And just on a laptop helping me do what she does. But those are the 2 ways that I would suggest people can build a team. The free route with the interns. And make sure it's mutually beneficial, though. Like, make sure you have something that they can learn. You ask them what they want to do after this so you can cater their experience to that, and it's mutually beneficial. You can't just finesse people out of their time because it's not going to work. But you have your interns, that's cost effective, and then you have your VAs. So that's how you make the team. Now, to go to the losses, I think one thing that I would say that I did that I probably wouldn't, and everybody kind of does this because as an entrepreneur, you get passionate about something, you just dive into it, but I just feel like I try to do just too much sometimes, too much at once, and it's honestly a problem that I want to say I've kind of got a hold of it now, but I'm recently just getting a hold of like being able to say no to stuff. If this idea comes to a head, it can wait till later, or I don't got to do it right now, or I can take that idea, give it to somebody else, and then give it and like take 5% or something like that and work like that. But man, bro, I did a lot of shit, bro. I used to do OnlyFans management at a point, like crazy shit. I used to do like marketing for restaurants, you know what I'm saying? And it's cool because I learned a lot of stuff in those moments. Like, I was heavy in the nightclub scene. And again, some of these things had their perks, but like, I feel like if I was just like laser focused on like 2-3 things max, as opposed to like 5 or 6. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about the whole validation shit. If I had a team like I do now to remind me, hey, you need to validate this idea before you get into it, or yo, Peter, I don't think this makes sense, then I probably wouldn't have got into some of those things. You know what I'm saying? Which is why, like, now, like, the reason why everything that I'm doing right now is heavily vested in time-wise is because it's been validated, whether it's about revenue or like by this product market fit, approach of interviews that we're doing right now. So that's kind of like a loss, I would say. I feel like I wasted a lot of time, for sure blew a lot of money, especially like in the nightlife shit. Especially in the nightlife shit. Just trying to do different things, you know what I mean? And I think, individual like yourself, like, you're really good at like seeing something that might look lit for now and then just keeping your calm and really just seeing how it play out for real. And I feel like that's a skill set that I'm able to like adapt now, and I would recommend to viewers to really just take your time, focus on your thing. A lot of stuff are just here for a good time, not a long time. A lot of shit that looks nice, what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff are also here for a good time and a long time too, though. You know what I'm saying? So still be open, but still have a process of elimination and some sort of like validation process to make sure that like this is worth your time investment and your financial investment if that becomes a part of that. You know what I'm saying?
I agree 100%. One of the rules, again, I read this in a book. They're saying always listen, always be open to listen, no matter what it is, even if it's from somebody like, let's say somebody has never done anything productive in their life, comes to you with a business opportunity. Listen, you don't have to, like, even if you walked in there knowing I would never do business with this man ever in my life. He's grimy. Listen, because you never know what you can learn from that conversation. Exactly. So I agree 100%. Now, I would say in terms of what you said, and like just not being able to focus on one thing, I feel like that's something I realized when I was young. I always wanted to be a millionaire. I always wanted to be rich. So I used to always look up like, how can I be a millionaire? What's, what I'm saying? Like, what ways can I get rich? Things of that nature. And I believe it was like in college when I got introduced to trading, is when I really realized like, okay, there's so many ways to make money, but at the end of the day, everything is the same thing. It's the same process. You have to learn the game. No matter what game you choose to play, there's all these different games, all these different business ventures make money. Like if the goal is to make $1 million, you can make it a million ways. Right. What game do you want to play? Regardless of what game it is, you're going to have to learn how to win the game. Right. So I'm like, okay, let me just focus on the game I want to play. So the reason I specifically chose trading is because the freedom in terms of independence, time freedom, and the scale. The when I just think about any business, I'm like, what can I scale the fastest, most aggressive, without needing more people or just like having to carry more costs on the way? And I just like trading. At the end of the day, if I'm able to make 10%, if I have 100,000, that's 10 bands a month. But if I had 10 million, that's $1 million a month. Same trade, same strategy, same method. So I just personally focused on that, and that's okay. My focus is going to be this, along with other things, of course. My career, school, other things that I want to focus on. But when I look at like top 3 things in my life for the last 3, 4, 5 years, it's been the same thing. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful I did it because now I know how to trade. You know what I'm saying? So, and I look at certain people that tried when I first got into it, they got into it too, but they don't know how to trade because they never really went through that. They never went through the time to figure out the game, to learn the game. So I 100% agree with you about focusing on like narrowing your focus. And like you said, and I feel like everything just kind of ties together. It needs that validation. You need that market research. It has to have a reasoning behind it. In order for you to bet on it, it has to have a reason behind it. So if you find a business venture, if you find a business, if you have an idea that can produce something for you, I believe what we learned here today was learn how to make it unique. Well, before you even do all of that, get your market feedback. You know what I mean? See if it's valid. Make it make sense. Make it not make sense. And see which one is more powerful. Is it making more sense than it's not? You know what I mean? And if that's the case, perfect. Now let's run with it. Okay, now as I'm running with it, I have to figure out, how do I make this more unique? How do I make this special? How do I provide the most value? And I feel like if you focus on that, and especially when it comes to picking your business, if you're focused on providing value, you can never go wrong. You know what I'm saying? If you're focused on just making money, making money isn't hard. There's so many ways to make money. It's just you gotta think long term. Like what do you want? You know what I'm saying? Make it all make sense. Appreciate you for your time. Is there anything you want to leave us with? One thing I did want to touch real quick before we leave out of here is, because we kind of briefly touched it, just ways to make your business more effective with the most cost-effective way. And I know you preach AI.
Yeah, I was just about to. That was the acronyms that I was literally just about to roll on my mouth. Pause. Like AI, artificial intelligence. I mean, I always say, like, you have to be on team, work smarter, not harder. I mean, I don't remember the last time I wrote an email. You have ChatGPT. The last time I sent the email, I don't know. You have Instantly AI that sends all my emails and follows up. Now in my meetings, I have my AI that records everything and sends me detailed key takeaway summaries and gives me my action items. What are we doing? There are AIs that give you captions for your social media, AIs that edit your videos, AIs that can't. I mean, at a point, what can it do? So it's like, do you want to, like, I'm a type of person where it's like, if you can't go against them, you have to just get with them. Yeah. AI is not going anywhere. I mean, y'all see the robots, y'all see the cars. Yeah, at first it was a joke that cars are going to drive themselves, drive by themselves. We're in California right now. Where it's Waymos everywhere. It's like, how much do you have to see AI do before you know you got to get it on your side? But believe it or not, 2 to 3 years, you're going to walk to somebody's house, drop off some mail, and the AI robot is going to open the door. 100%. It's already happening. So it's like, because of the reality of that, you have to think about, in the same way that you figure out how you find your interns, the same way you figure out how you identify what AI tool you want to use. Write out everything you do. Every task you do, 100% by the time you're watching the video has to have, unless you're a chef or something like that, and you have a hands-on business. Again, with these robots coming out, we don't know where that's going, but not for this podcast, but everything that you do in your business, writing emails, managing social media posts, there is an AI for those tools, 100%. And there's a link in my bio with free AI tools. I put together 100 AI tools with their functionalities and links to those platforms. And I also have a course that shows you everything you need to know about utilizing AI with a good amount of walkthroughs on some tools that'll help you get your productivity up. But really take the time, if there's nothing you took off from this podcast, is write down everything you do and then search up emails, AI, search up content creation, AI, anything you do, and I promise you there'll be AI. And the crazier thing is, most of these have free trials. Out of, like, if I have 5 AI tools, I'm paying for 2. The 3 are free trials or free whatever, you know what I'm saying? Freemiums is like they call it. So it's like, don't be lacking, because we'll get ahead of y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it 100. You just get with it or get left behind. It's not going anywhere. The government is shutting tech down. They're not shutting AI down. They're training their models on AI. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you have to really think about how you can utilize these resources, making themselves available, you know? So that's definitely some advice that, you know, I preach on here. I will continue to preach, and I think it's something that's really pivotal, you know?
100%. Just real quick before we get out of here, the AI thing. So I've been applying for jobs for a year now. And I came out to California because I got hired at Paramount as a financial analyst. Yeah. So I've been applying for jobs for a year now. Yeah. Nothing. Maybe since last October and today, and I actually really started before last October. Yeah. No, not today. I would say between last October and the beginning of October, I only had one in-person interview with all at that point thousands of applications that I applied to. I was speaking to my mom, she was like, you know, they're using AI software now. You have to individualize each resume to that job description, because it's not a person reading it. It's the AI tool. It scans for what they're looking for, and it wants to see those keywords on your resume. Yeah. So I'm like, bro, I'm not about to sit here and hand do this for I tried it for a few, and I said, I'm not about to do this. Wait, I have ChatGPT. Right. So I went on ChatGPT, and I would just copy the job description, and I will copy my resume and say, make my resume fit, make sure it's spotted by AI, but make sure that it's not so close that it's obvious that I use AI for this. And they will do it. I believe it's called ATS or something like that. They will do it to make sure those keywords are there. Right. And I got like 4 or 5 interviews this week alone, bro. You know what I'm saying? From major companies. So I'm like, bro, like, there's no way. And
I guess, bro, it's some more game than that in case other people are in that situation. So it's 2 hacks I've been hearing about that for that. Number 1, there are AIs that can apply jobs for you now. I got a couple homies that run that play where, like, give them your resume, they're applying 200, 300 jobs a week using AI on your behalf. And then the second play that I think they use in combination with that is, so that whole job description thing you said, like, you can take that if you use a platform like Canva to make your resume. So take the job description and then you put it on your resume and then turn the transparency to 0 or to 1.
Oh wow! So nobody will see it, but the
text is on the resume, and then you add that with the AI multiple application, boom. So that's the sauce right there. You know, hit me in the DMs for more details.
It's automatically gonna ping you. The person's gonna read it and just see your resume.
But it's like transparently blinded in the back is the whole shit that they put out.
Do they make it very small font or like?
Yeah, super small font. I mean, however you do it, as long as it's not visible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's a play that niggas are running right now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So if you looking for a job, yeah, it's so many play, and that's the thing about, to your point, just knowing great people that know so much shit. It's so much shit that people are doing out here is innovative as fuck.
It's amazing, bro. Appreciate you for your time. Yes, real quick, go ahead and drop your socials so people can get in touch with you.
Yeah, man. Peter.IWUH on Instagram is the IG. Feel free to tap in, hit me with a DM. We can have a conversation, and hopefully see some of y'all at the bank, man.
Yes, sir. Let's do it, man. It's Before the Millions on all platforms. BT Millions. I told you I'm gonna keep bringing superstars. I'm gonna keep bringing unique, special people, and they're always gonna have gems for you, man. Let's go ahead and get these millions. We out of here.
Yes, sir. That was a good joint.